And I'm back with another video. It's just been over a week since my last one. Things are growing really nicely in the greenhouse. I've got some flowers going on, some new ones that have been coming up. I'm going to be thinning out some of my seed trays over here, as they've gotten to the point where I need to go through now and thin these out and do a walk around at the greenhouse on how it's looking and put some things in some pots and keep things moving along. It's approaching about 2 weeks out from Christmas, and so let's go. So over here I'm going to be going through with my favorite little scissors and be thinning out, cutting all the little ones, leaving just one through these trays. And these ones, I'm going to try to pull some of these out and transplant them into bigger pots. I think this is about as many are going to sprout in these two trays of the black-eyed Susans. So I'm going to try to get these out carefully and transplant it into the bigger pots that they'll be in for the duration of their stay here. I'm going to give another go of these though. When I did these, I only did one seed per seed cell, and you can see the results. It didn't pop very many of them, so I'm going to get some more of those seeds and do another round. And I'm also going to be thinning these ones out, and then come up here. I'll be thinning these ones out. So here's the before, and it's time to thin these out. Alright, I thinned these ones out best I could. They're still really little, but I was able to do some damage. They're going to be growing more. I'll come through and do another round of going through and thinning these out. Now I'm going to go up to the upper one, and also wanted to mention the other day we got a Christmas tree, and I was going to propagate the tree that we got, but the guy that works at the nursery, the owner, said that it was a difficult one to do, so he gave me a branch of this particular Christmas tree and said that this one's really good for propagating. So I'm going to be cutting as many pieces of this as I can to propagate and get little Christmas trees down the future, hopefully. So this is one of today's projects also. So now let's go up here. Alrighty, I thinned these ones out best I could. I'll come back when they're a little bit bigger. Still growing, just growing slowly with the cool temperature in here. Now I'm just kind of going through and watering everything. It's all looking really nice. Stoked. These are the giant sunflowers. They've been sprouting. Some of those ones are ones I dug up and transplanted in here, and some of them are the seeds I planted. So I'll be growing giant sunflowers in here throughout the winter just to experiment with them. But up here is looking really nice. I'll just kind of been watering as I go. Honeysuckles are doing really, really well. There's a lot of growth on these, as you can see. So that's awesome. I'll also take a peek. I'm going to go through and be picking some of the jalapenos and Thai peppers. And the other week I transplanted this wildflower plant in, and it started to flower. So pretty stoked that I'm having flowers growing in the middle of December. And over here, if you watched the last video, this giant sunflower in particular, I lost heat one night and it frost damaged some of the leaves, so I ended up just pulling them off. but it's still growing strong. I roped it over a little bit with this string again to kind of bend it down, and it's also got little shoots growing. Usually when I'm growing my giant sunflowers, trying to get them to maximum height, you come through and you pull these to give all the energy to the plant, but I think I'm going to let these grow, being that that's where the leaves were, and see what happens. But in here is going really nice. This is full of worms again. If you watch my last video, I've got a worm farm going on in here. They like the pumpkins. And so yeah, I'll have a lot of worms to move around springtime. And over here, this orchid's been doing really well. This has been flowering for months, those flowers, like 3 months. And it's showing no sign of stopping anytime soon. It's got new growth. So that's doing really well. The other orchid, not so good. I think it's toasted. But 1 out of 2 is pretty good. And this giant sunflower is doing awesome. It's about hit the top. And it doesn't show any signs of flower budding. So this might just keep growing and growing in the Gnome Village giant sunflower. I've got company coming in to town within a couple weeks. My little kids will be here along with other families, so I'm keeping it all nice, getting it all really nice in here for company. Alrighty, let's get a tray ready and see what we can do with this Christmas tree branch. Alright, so out of that one Christmas tree branch, I was able to get 13 clippings. And these are looking pretty good. I'm happy with how these look. This is my first time doing it. I've watched other videos, and so I'm going to go with this. I'm going to shave a little bit off the end and then put the rooting powder on them. And I've got my tray over here. I'm going to be using this size. And this will be where they grow until they get planted outside, wherever that may be. So I'm going to get those loaded up with some soil. And get those clippings in there. Alright, I got my tray ready. Just kind of go through, poke my little holes using my construction pencil. Works good. And I am ending up kind of shaving the end of that clipping a little bit, and then boom, boom. And my last clipping. Pretty easy to do and fun. It's probably going to take a few years to get a decent sized tree, but if anything, it looks cool. So I'm going to be probably just letting these hang out here for a while. It's winter time, and so it's not super hot. They can kind of just hang out here until they start getting rooted, and then I will move them somewhere different. So for now, this is probably their home. Kind of crazy, but the next day, I don't know what happened. They just exploded with growth. So check it out. Just kidding. This is actually a different variety of pine tree that I got clippings from about 4 months ago. That's just kind of been hanging out in this tray in a cool place underneath here. And this one, from what I've looked at, the research says it could take up to 6 months, even longer, to just root. So these have just been hanging out. I keep this tray moist when it gets a little dry. So this is another thing in the making as far as pine trees. Christmas trees. Alright, it's time to harvest these peppers. Let's see how many I can get. Alrighty. Was able to get a good little haul. I'll chop these up and do something with them. Alright, now I'm going to be transplanting the black-eyed Susans. Some came up, not a whole bunch. Mainly want to transplant them and get them out of these trays so I can do more. I've got more seeds on the way. And I don't think that any more are going to be sprouting. I put them on heat mats again to see if they would, and they didn't. But this is my first time growing these. Once I get the big plants this season, then I can just get clippings off of them and propagate next season. So right now I'm going to be getting these and putting them into some bigger pots. I think I'm going to go with this size right here. That'll be good. And then when they get bigger, I'm going to put them in the 6-inch pots. So let's get transplanting. Alright, so I'm getting them to come out of the seed cells. They're super delicate. Usually I like to let them get bigger, but I'm getting a little impatient, so I want to get them out of these. But this is what they're going to look like. And these ones I'm going to be putting on the upper shelf. So let's finish getting these in. Okay, so I've got my first tray. We got 2 more left. Not as many as I'd hoped to get originally, obviously, but I'm going to do another tray with more seeds. These ones for now will make some good plants to start. I'm going to get these up here. I'm going to put them right up here. Okay, so I've got those up here. This will be where they stay. Put a few of them in this one. Strawberries are doing good. I also wanted to point out this flowering plant. This is some of the first ones, if not the first ones, I propagated. When I found out about propagating, cutting clippings off of plants and that you could plant them and grow them, I got super excited and just randomly cut these off and put them in here, and surprisingly they are starting to grow green. So it's actually working. So super stoked about that. More flowers. So we'll see how these do. And I think that's about it for today's video. Everything's looking good. I'll be doing another video in the near future. Thanks for watching. Hi, Mom.